Hey there, I'm Mr. Terry, a high school history teacher. Welcome back to another History Teacher Reacts video. All right, today's video came recommended to me, I think because I've been covering some like historically comedic things. Because from what I've been able to gather is this guy I'm about to watch, his name is Al Murray. Getting the idea he's like a stand-up comedian, but this is supposed to be like impressive or funny or something like that. Now the video is called Name a Country We Have Defeated Them. So I don't know exactly like even where he's from or something like that, but this is intriguing to me and I'm excited to check this out. All right, the video is going to be linked in the description. Make sure you are supporting that. Give it the view, the like, subscribe, so we make sure you get supported. All right, let's get started.
Fucking country in the world at war. Name a country, Gary.
Germany.
Germany, 1945, thank you very much. Very recent, job done, twice in one century. If only they'd tried again around 99, we got the fucking hat trick. Another.
Okay, so he's asked the crowd, what's a country you defeated? I'm thinking he's speaking on the behalf of the British. Yeah, easy one right there in Germany.
Country, please.
Argentina.
Argentina, 82, no help from no one else. And that, of course, was a war not for oil, but for penguins. Because we all know penguins are an essential ingredient in making Guinness, aren't they? You boil them up, the white stuff floats to the top, job done. Another country, please. Another one, France, thank you. We're in 1815 Waterloo, we haven't heard from them since. Yeah, another one, please.
Napoleon, defeating Napoleon in Waterloo. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of times you could talk about this. I don't want to get into this too much, but I love the witty responses right away. He's obviously knows the stuff so far, and we'll see if I'm interested to see if people get more like maybe a little more obscure.
Canada, yeah, Canada used to be part of the British Empire, which means they're an ally of ours. As you know, being an ally of ours counts as losing to us. Why else are the Canadians so miserable? Another one, please.
Oh, take that. How does it make you feel, Canada?
Spain, 1588, Battle of the Armada. Thank you, sir. We haven't heard from them since.
Armada. And basically end of the height of the Spanish Empire.
Uganda, that was an African colony, of course, that at one point used to belong to the Germans. And in 1919, the League of Nations, as you know, when the Treaty of Versailles, when the world was redivided, and the African colonies were partitioned and separated between France and Great Britain. And we got Uganda as a result simply of it being defeating the Germans. We got given Uganda, which sounds like fucking winning there, without even having to go there. Result. Another one, please.
Whoa! Okay, so he's going. Okay, I'm glad somebody threw out like Africa at him, something like that. With Uganda, yeah, going to Treaty of Versailles again. I'm not going to comment too much on, but that's impressive.
Another one. Another one. Need to go to more pub quizzes, love. Another one, please.
Pub quiz. You'd be great at the history section. You want this guy on your team.
You're thinking War of Independence. America finds itself free of Great Britain. Yeah, they see that as a win. We see that as a lucky fucking escape. But let's not forget, in the War of 1812 to 1814, the Royal Navy sailed up the Potomac River, set fire to the White House, and the Americans had to whitewash it to cover up the fire damage, which is why it's called the White House. The Americans sued for peace at the end of 1814, even though they won a battle at the end of the war. The war's already over, the stupid fuckers were still fighting, even though they'd already lost. And that is America, and they've been working for us ever since. Another one, please.
By the way, I think he just offended Canadians again as well, because Canadians take credit for the War of 1812 there. That's interesting. Now, if you didn't know, if you're an American, the way that the British actually like name and describe what we call in America as the American Revolution is, yeah, like the American War of Independence. It's looked at differently because it's like different perspectives that way. For America, it was a revolution, right? For the British, it was one of many little wars of independence, either keeping a colony under their control or, you know, them winning it in some way. And by the way, the coverage, of course, in like a British history textbook is going to be like, you know, a paragraph of the American Revolution, but, you know, American War of Independence, basically saying, you know, the war wasn't worth fighting anymore, and the countries were so distant, it was an inevitability. But then in American history, it's going to be like with all kinds of points and ideas with that.
Belgium, of course, is a creation of the series of treaties that came out at the end of the Napoleonic Wars. You know, the fallout of Waterloo, 1815. It was the Duchy of Burgundy, of course, and the Netherlands states were divvied up to two buffer zones in order to prevent any one single power taking control of the Netherlands, which is, of course, our dangerous flank between Germany and France, and we don't like European hegemony of one power, and that's why Belgium and Holland were cut up into two and a buffer zone created. And I think if you create a country out of thin fucking air, you've won. Another one, please. Another one.
You wonder, do you think he has basically something prepared for every country in the world? You'd kind of have to, especially if you did this a lot.
Italy, yeah, 1943, folded early, didn't they? Another one, please.
World War II.
China. Opium War,
Opium
1860.
Wars.
Another one, please.
Yep. Big blow to China with this is kind of one of those wars that showed military superiority and how much that had changed up until the 19th century, and it was a major blow for the autonomy, especially economic autonomy of China there. But yeah,
Hey,
that's the one I would go with.
Burkina Faso used to be a German colony. I referred to my previous answer.
Yep.
Come on, please.
Okay, so he's going to say all the German colonies, because after World War I, if you didn't know, Germany was stripped away of all of their overseas colonies, basically all of them. But rather than those countries getting their independence, they were just taken over by the Allies, with the British, of course, being a major part of that.
Hey? Norway, they used to be the Vikings, love. We saw them off in the end, didn't we?
Yeah.
And look at that, that's a come down. Once they were Vikings, now look at them, Norwegians. That's a fucking collapse, isn't it?
Vikings invade England. There's a few centuries, get booted out.
Please. Japan, we've got the Yanks to do it for us. Another one. Peru. What language do they speak in Peru, sir? Portuguese. No, they don't, actually.
Spanish.
They speak Spanish. Yeah, which means in 1512, when Pope Julius XII divided the New World into two sections down the line of longitude 129, the stuff to the east of that went to Portugal, which is why they speak Portuguese in Brazil. The stuff to the west of that went to Spain, which means Peru was technically part of Spain when we defeated Spain in 1588 back in the Armada. So we done Peru without having had a visit. Job done.
Okay.
Can't argue with it.
So if you don't know about that line, he's sort of talking about there. During the kind of age of exploration, Spain and Portugal being the two real major explorers as far as from Europe goes and colonizing, had disagreements about, like who gets what, right? Because they're both over in Asia, they're both over in the Americas and stuff like that. And they went to the Pope, right? Because they're both Catholic nations as well. Pope basically divided up a line, so the eastern side of this line, Portugal sort of gets the rights to whatever that means, with Spain to the left. And there are it's not the line, if you look at it, kind of runs through, since Portugal had such a already established position in Portugal. It's not just like Eastern Western Hemisphere. It's like Portugal still gets sort of control over Brazil, but everything west of that, is going to be for Spain. And then east of that would go to, whatever that means, go to like Africa and Asia. That's where the Portuguese specifically would get the permissions to, again, whatever you want to call that. And although there were exceptions, like the Philippines in Spain, Spain in the Philippines, and then again the Portuguese with Brazil there. Okay, that'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so that was impressive. I mean, again, I was kind of wondering, I asked during the video, do you think he has something planned for every single country? Now, a lot of them, like he said, you can kind of like grandfather in with some other event, like he was talking about defeating the Spanish Armada. Therefore, anything that was related to Spain technically came under that win or whatever, some kind of defeat. With that, and then you can throw a lot of things with like Treaty of Versailles, because that's intertwined in so many things. But I mean, if you even look at like invasions, right, you can look at like how many countries has Britain invaded. Like if you even made it more specific like that, it would still be incredibly impressive to actually look at, right? Anyway, this was funny. I think being there, you can see how like impressed the people were. That's an interesting part of history. Do you think this would work, by the way? Because I don't know if he was speaking to like a British audience, but like, do you think this would work in other countries? Would it be as impactful if like you did that in the United States? Would it still be as funny? I don't know. But anyway, that was great. That was awesome. Let me know what you think there. And again, I've loved hitting kind of these like comedic history things, so I can give you guys my thoughts and explain anything I can. I try not to overstep with this one, but that kind of stuff I love seeing. So if you got that, you can send some recommendations. Good way to do that. Probably the best way to do it is actually to join our Discord server, which is down in the description. And there's a video suggestions tab there. It's a lot easier than me going through pages and pages of video comments. I have hundreds of videos, so it gets a little bit hard to do that. But that's a good place to do it, and you can join the community that way. All right, with that, we'll see you next time. Bye.